Hello and welcome. In this video I'm going to be going over the evolution of my paper cuttings of samurai armor, where things started and where things stand as of today. So the first one I made was back in 2010. I was working from a picture from this book that I bought in Japan. It was kind of just to see what a suit of samurai armor would look like as a paper cutting. So this was the picture I was working from. It turned out alright, but knowing that ideally I want to sell my artwork, I knew I couldn't just use copywritten pictures. So I kind of left it alone and didn't do a whole lot more until 2022. I was at the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto and took some pictures of a suit of armor they had there. And so obviously now that I had my own pictures to work from, I could create some new artwork. And so I made this helmet and it turned out fairly well. I also around the same time started making t-shirts, so I used that as a design in one of my t-shirts, and again it turned out well. People seemed to like it. So I made a second piece of just a helmet from a suit of armor that we have, that my parents-in-law sent us when our son was born. And so again, that one turned out fairly well. But after that, I kind of didn't have a whole lot more. I didn't have any pictures of my own to work from until recently. I figured there's got to be a way around this. So I had some pictures that I took from the suit of armor at the ROM, but I didn't take great pictures, so I had to kind of work with those. And so what I did was kind of transposed pictures onto this, pictures that I took, and I made this piece here, which was okay, but I thought it's fairly simplistic and two-dimensional, where I know I could do something better. So I found a few Facebook groups that had pictures of samurai armor in them, and just kind of asked the moderators and the people that took the pictures if I could use pictures that they had taken, and they said go ahead. So the next thing I did was working from this picture here. I obviously blew it up a bit, changed around the contrast a little bit, and then took my Sharpie, drew over top, and cut it out, and this was the result of that. So obviously that looks a bit better than the previous one, so I thought, okay, I'm on to something here. So I got a few more pictures and worked from those. And so this is the second one that I've done from pictures that I found in those Facebook groups. So this one I have not separated yet. This is the drawing and the paper cutting attached. So that's what it looks like when I flip it over. And just to go through the process a little bit. So this black piece is what becomes the paper cutting. What is the paper cutting, I should say. So this is the same process that I do for pretty much everything I've ever done in terms of paper cutting. So obviously I've taped those together. And so when it's done, I have the drawing and the actual paper cutting. You can see fairly small ones in there. So I might have to adapt this one if I were to make a t-shirt from it, just because these are so small. The way I make t-shirts, I cut out the stencils and then I apply the ink by hand. So sometimes it would get caught into something that small. So this one might just have to stand alone as a paper cutting, but the one that I showed previous should be fine. And then there's one I'm working on now. In the drawing phase. So as you can see, it's not completely done. Still have a bit of work to do around here, but just really trying to get the shadow effect there. You can kind of see is starting a little bit when I flip it over. I'll do what I can to make this look really good, and hopefully it turns out well. So I'm just going to go over a bit of the drawing here. Don't want to give away all my secrets here, but just so I can see that this all kind of matches. So with these ones, the difficult part, as with all that are only black and white with no color, is the fact that there is only black and white. There's only two choices. And to really make these pop, or attempt to, just to really add the contrast, it's really the whole less is more idea. So I've kind of drawn these out, but odds are I may just fill them in, because again, less is more. So if I take these out, it's going to give it a bit more of an impact. So you can see here, obviously the darkness here with the shadow there. You kind of start to see it there. It really gives that effect. So I mean, I could have done a lot of these little ones here, but if I did, it wouldn't have that high contrast that really makes it pop. So this is the easy part, filling in stuff or parts that obviously are going to be black. But then there's other sections, like here, this is darker, so I'll kind of have to make a judgment on whether I fill that in or not, and then along here as well. And so for this part here, I will go back to the original picture, zoom in, draw this out in pencil, and then go over with marker. Also, fortunately, a lot of the helmets, more than one, will have the same type of design at the top, so I should be able to find a picture somewhere that has this, either in that book I have or a little more research online. Shouldn't be hard to find something that'll tell me exactly what to do here if the original picture doesn't do that. So that's all I'll do here for now. Really have to consult the original picture to see exactly where I should be drawing here, these little parts as well. So I'll leave it there for now, and then we'll do a bit of video of the actual cutting of this one. So I've finished the drawing and am now in the process of doing the cutting. I've already done a fair bit, maybe about a third to a half of it is done. As usual, starting with the smallest portions. So, it's shown we have two layers here, the black paper and the drawing on top. So I'll just do a bit of cutting. So the 2 layers fall out. It's from the black paper underneath, and this one from the drawing. So I did speak about this helmet. I found some pictures online that I could work from, so that worked out well. And when I was drawing it, I kind of ended these lines here, and it looked a bit better. So when I'm cutting it, I'll probably cut the lines off here, just look better. And some of the other stuff, I mean, I'm 99% gonna go according to the drawing, but I can flip it over as I'm working, and if I feel like it's good without certain portions, then I might not use them, but we'll see, because in this one obviously there's all of this white space here, so which isn't going to be part of the finished product, so it does make a difference when I'm flipping it over and I can see things here. So it's going to have a lot more dark here, so that changes things. But try and keep that in mind as I'm drawing, and so odds are it's going to be very similar to the drawing. So these ones are fairly small. With this one, not a lot of tiny pieces. These ones are probably the smallest on this one. There's some smaller ones in here as well. Pretty tiny. So I'll just film that portion. Usually my face is a lot closer, it makes it easier. So I'll get this done, and then we'll see how it looks. So here we are, all finished this one. I think it turned out fairly well. Paper cutting, and then once I was done this one, I had 3 finished, so I figured why not make a 4th, make it a nice round number for when I'm displaying them or whatnot. I just like to have 4. So this one's number 4. And as I mentioned, I was planning on making t-shirts from these, so I have the first one done here from the first suit of armor. that turned out well. I'll include a link in the description of the video about where to purchase these. So here's the front. It says Tokugawa. And so the Tokugawa family ruled Japan from 1603 to 1868, the first of whom being Tokugawa Ieyasu, who essentially completed the process of unifying Japan and reestablished the position of shogun as the seat of power. If you've watched the Shogun miniseries, you'll recognize this family crest here. It's kind of hard to see there, but on the back here, I put it there, so you would have seen that a whole lot throughout the miniseries. The character of Toranaga is based on Tokugawa Ieyasu. I'll leave the spelling of his name in the description if you're not familiar. Obviously, it's a really interesting story and important to the history of Japan. And so that's pretty much it for this most recent foray into the world of samurai armor. Obviously, I like how these turned out. Had a lot of fun doing them. So I'm hoping to get some pictures myself the next time I'm in Japan and work from those. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.